The president was almost just shot in the head. The former president Donald Trump was almost just shot in the head. If you're watching this in the future, this is the week that happened, by the way. So, I
Yeah,
don't know.
we should. I mean, it's worth mentioning.
What's up, gamers, and welcome back to the Have Fun podcast. This is the podcast where we interview our friends like they're celebrities. Or I guess in this case, possibly both, and also not our because it's singular now, just for this episode. So it's me. So this is the Have Fun podcast where I interview my friend like they're a celebrity, but actually they might be a celebrity. And you'll also probably notice that no one else is on the couch with me. That's because my guest is joining us from the great state of Illinois, USA, via satellite Zoom. Guest, introduce yourself using your name, social security number, and career. Oh, wait. Yes, all those things. I need all of them. And let me get my
All
notebook
of
so I can
them?
write down the
Okay.
number. Yeah.
In that order?
Yeah, preferably.
Okay. So I am Kari Jones. I am coming to you from Mattoon, Illinois. My social security number is,
Redacted.
yes, redacted, because I am in the FBI protection program. So I don't disclose many details about myself. That's why I live in Mattoon.
Middle of nowhere. No one would ever look for you there.
No one. No one. No one. It's airport, cornfield, my house. I've just given you a clue. That's literally where I live.
Very
And the airport
nondescript.
doesn't even have flights that come in anymore.
It's abandoned. No one flies in.
Like they occasionally have like private jets come in for the big corporations,
Oh wow.
but there's like no actual airline operating out of there. But it does have a steakhouse, and I don't know that they actually serve steak. But
so
they
it's just
are
a house. They just have a house.
Yes. They serve the biggest elephant ear pork tenderloin.
What the heck? Elephant ear. So it's so. What,
Like-
is it steak or is it an elephant ear?
So it's a pork tenderloin.
Okay.
And so think of a hamburger bun, like about
Right.
this big.
Okay.
And so they put this thing on a sandwich, on a hamburger bun, but it's like this big and it's misshapen and it's on this itty bitty bun.
So wait, what? So elephant ear is just a reference to the size.
Yes.
Okay, it's
Yes.
not like a burger covered in cinnamon sugar.
No, it's not to be confused with the Carnival Delight.
Okay, I have an elephant ear. Most people, I don't advertise that, but I have one.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
Should I ask about this, or would you like to just
Well, we had
fully
this.
disclose?
So I know this guy named Furl. Our viewers know who he is. He's on a couple episodes ago. And he's like one of the most interesting men in the world. He gave me an elephant ear. I'm not talking about the dessert in this case. I transitioned into it's the ear. It's an ear from an elephant.
There's
I
so many
don't-
questions.
I don't know if it was legally obtained because you can't.
Yeah,
I don't know
doubt
about-
that.
I can't imagine it was. I don't know if I should be saying this, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in witness protection, I can disclose like my friend's poaching activities, I guess. No one's going to watch this.
And I am an excellent secret keeper. I tell
a secret keeper girl.
no one. So I won't disclose what I know about you.
Good.
It's safe with me.
This whole episode will be top secret, and we could say anything, and the government can't watch. They can't know about it.
Right, because that's a thing.
Mm. Actually, they're probably watching already. They're probably like, this is... They're in on
But
it.
they're probably like, we don't need to worry about these guys. Let's move on.
Yeah. Our FBI agents are tuning in.
Yes. Oh, wait. Do you hear that? No, I think we're good.
It's like
I
the
thought
phone
someone
line
was
when you hear the
tapping
click.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we're good. I thought I heard clicks, but I think we're fine.
Okay, sorry. Let's backtrack a little bit. What's your profession? You said it again, but let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it. So, well, actually, that kind of tunes in with how you and I met. So
Oh,
I
so
won't
true. Great
necessarily say
transition.
this is my profession, but
Oh,
we
okay.
met because we both love comedy and we're pursuing stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So on the sidelines, I do comedy, but I do have a full-time job, and I am the front desk coordinator for a major agricultural supply chain.
Oh, wow.
You get to choose which is more fun.
I guess I also have a full-time position as not a comedian, but you know, my dream career.
Right, right.
So I make styrofoam.
We need styrofoam. Where would we
Yeah,
be without it?
it's super important.
It is.
Everybody uses it.
Yes. It is a consumable, if you will.
And sometimes when I get hungry, if I forget my lunch, I'll just eat a handful of styrofoam.
That's not what I meant by consumable, but
Oh, oh,
sure.
oh.
Sure.
I thought.
But
Well,
I'm not
I
here to
misread the
judge you though.
situation. It's just the texture. It's not necessarily like there's the taste is bad, but the texture. It's like not too dissimilar to popcorn. No crunch, just the squish. Just those little squishy popcorns. Just the little
Uh,
those fat
okay.
part.
I didn't know we were going to talk about your undisclosed pica disorder.
Is that a? I don't know that. Is that a mouth thing?
Oh, you don't watch TLC. Oh my gosh. So like
Tender love and care. Oh no.
there's like this, I can't remember the name of the television show, but it's about people with bizarre habits.
Oh, the My Strange Addictions.
That's it.
Yes.
Yes. And people who eat things that are not meant to be eaten
Oh
have
yeah.
a disorder called pica. And I've seen people talk about eating mattresses and
Yeah, it's
soap.
always something expensive, right?
I can eat this mattress. It's no big deal. It'll only send me back another $1,000.
Now I wonder if there is like the best mattress to eat just like a spring and foam, or is like purple the best tasting mattress?
See, I feel like the color would coordinate with the flavor, right?
You're right. Grape mattress.
Great. So yeah. I mean, that's how we equate it with candy.
Yeah,
Why not with mattress?
exactly.
I don't know.
We need to get a mattress eater on this podcast so we can ask him all these questions.
We need to do a Google search and I will
Hmm.
help you do this research. I want to be back when you find that person. I've
Yeah,
got lots of questions.
yeah.
A
I've
ton.
never desired to eat a mattress. Well, it's the foam part. That's what it is. The foam part. So it's the chewing on it of the foam, right? Like that's the
Yeah,
draw.
I guess it's got to be that or maybe the feeling of fullness.
Well, if you're
I
really
don't know.
hungry, I mean,
I mean, yeah, I mean that really does would you eat anything? Okay,
yeah.
would would you eat anything?
But
Like
there's no
if
nutrients, right?
yeah, I mean there's none. Wouldn't your I don't know. Doesn't that desire come from eating anything that might possibly have nutrients? Like dirt. I mean,
Like
it's not
dirt.
ideal, but
Yeah.
at least it's natural. How did we get here? This
Um,
spiraled fast.
it really did. It did. We started to go to something, and then it just right when
Yeah,
we thought we were gonna zig, we zagged, and then we
yeah.
zogged, and then we
But
zigged
I
again.
mean, it's the Have Fun podcast. So,
It's so
I mean,
true. And we're having fun,
we are having fun.
and we're podcasting.
We're doing both. We're multitasking. We're so awesome.
So true.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was a kid, I couldn't swim. Well, actually, I still can't really swim. I'm not a good swimmer because I'm too dense, but physically, um, but I had like vests, like these kids vests that they can float,
Right.
and I used to bite into it, and it was rubber, but then foam on the inside, so it was like squeaky, and honestly, I kind of understand the mattress eaters now a little bit.
Okay. Okay. You have something to relate it to.
Yeah, and those vests were good. I probably ate two of them, as much as
So,
my mouth could get. Not.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Were they orange?
I had a yellow one, and then an updated model later on was like sky blue.
Oh, see, because I was thinking orange citrus, but yellow
Yeah,
citrus,
yellow.
blue blueberry. I
Yeah,
mean, if this
yeah.
fits into the previous theory,
So true. The color represents the flavor.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. And honestly, I wish I could go back. Life was simpler back then. Just eating swimming vests.
those were the days.
Those were the days.
Drinking from a garden hose, and
Yeah, the metallic water.
how far we've come.
So we touched on it, but we keep getting away from it for some reason. Big tangent podcast seems like this is going to be.
I think so.
But the CCA, we met at the CCA
Yes.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it
2
3?
years
Yeah.
ago.
Well,
2 years ago, but 3
2 years ago.
CCAs.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and that's where we found out that we were what, long lost conjoined twins.
That we discovered that at this one.
At this one, yeah.
At this one, but yes, that is where we discovered that. Yeah. I can't remember why. You've got it on video somewhere. The discovery.
So was it? I can't remember why either. Was it? I know we started to talk about JFK's assassination. Was that why?
Yes,
Was that what it is?
that's why.
We twin telepathy.
Yes, the telepathy thing. That's exactly what it was. Twin. That's exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm. Kind of goes back to nutrients. We were conjoined at the brainwave and feeding off the nutrients tube.
That okay.
A little bit of mental gymnastics there, but I think our viewers will think that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, CCA. Also, do we want to talk about JFK? I don't know that. I don't know that much.
I don't know
Wait
that
a
much
second.
about it.
Sorry, hold on. The president was almost just shot in the head. The former president Donald Trump was almost just shot in the head. If you're watching this in the future, this is the week that happened, by the way. So
yeah,
I don't know.
We should. I mean, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's at least a footnote, I think.
It's at least a footnote. At the very least, because regardless of where you stand on this, it was a historical moment.
Definitely. Like all the presidents that got shot in the head and this one that almost got shot in the head.
Yeah.
Definitely historical. I don't even know the political parties of the two that got their heads shot off. It doesn't matter.
No. I mean, it's just, it's
just history.
It's history. It's shocking. It's history. And
yeah.
And so, yeah, here we are.
Now, do you think, obviously, JFK and Lincoln, everyone speculates about was it an inside job?
Mm-hmm.
Was it just somebody crazy act of violence? If people aren't already speculating on Donald Trump, which I think they probably are.
I'm sure, yeah.
Even 100 years from now, people will still be talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not?
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually heard someone yesterday talking about how they actually witnessed it. They were there in Pennsylvania when it happened. And they were at the rally, and immediately they started hearing false reports on the news.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, wait a minute, that's not what happened, but it's already out there.
Mm-hmm.
So then what happens is there's that concern that people who are apt to believe things that aren't verified will then use that as their substance for whatever conspiracy theories they think are out there to be had. And it lingers. I mean, it's just, you can't avoid it.
The news is, they just want to be first, right? So they're just going to speculate and put it out there.
Yeah.
Anything they know, this just in type beat,
Exactly. Well, and what's interesting is we had friends, or not friends, we had family in from Northern Illinois this weekend, and we were on our way out the door to meet them for dinner, and my mom came from downstairs. She's like, turn on the news. And we're like, we're about to go. And she goes, turn on the news. So we turned it on, and we were getting like one set of information from the radio, one set of information from the television. We started scrolling like news feeds on social media, on news outlets, and all of the stories were disjointed. I mean, not one of them could share the same information, so you could tell nothing had been verified. So it's like something's happening right now, but we don't really know what it is yet. So it was a terrifying couple of minutes until there was a little more clarity coming through about, okay, this is what just happened. This is what we know. Let's sort this out.
I heard something about the security wasn't as tight as it should have been.
Yeah. I haven't gone down
that's
that.
like, that's why people think that it was inside.
Yeah, and I haven't, I mean, I'm pretty cautious. I'm pretty cautious with the news outlets because I definitely have my own, I have my own political leanings. Everybody does. But also I find myself kind of middle of the road because I do want to hear the news. I don't want to be swayed one way or another. And sometimes I really worry that I could be easily influenced that way. So I don't know if that's worth investigation. I've heard some credible reasons why it is. So I'm just going to let them. It's above my pay grade. Yeah. I'm a front desk coordinator.
Yeah, and I make styrofoam.
Retail. And you make styrofoam. And you eat Life Vests.
And somehow we're still qualified to talk about this? Question mark.
Well, we qualified ourselves.
Right. And isn't that all you really need is just to qualify yourself and you're an expert on it?
Well, I mean, it's a podcast. That is literally all you need. I have an opinion, therefore.
I matter. Now I matter.
That's right. You do matter.
I heard this. Now, let me know if you heard this, because this is like, I'm trying to figure this out in my brain. This is either really inside information or, I don't know. Let me relay it to you and you see if you heard this. Okay. So I heard that there's a video that had 400 views, and it was posted like 3 months ago, of a guy that he had either a vision or a prophecy that Donald Trump was going to get shot in the ear and survive, and that it would bring him closer to God.
I think I scrolled through something like that. It might have been on Instagram. I feel it was on Instagram because I feel it was a video. I didn't watch it, to be fair.
I didn't watch it either.
But like I saw the caption. So I think there was someone who claims to have prophesied that. Now, I mean, I don't know if they've authenticated the video.
Yeah, I don't know if they have. I haven't looked into it at all.
But I have heard that. So, I mean, it would definitely be worth, why aren't we talking to this guy? It's like, do we push you to the back? I don't know. And I think at this point where I'm at, like, I've never considered myself a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I say that too, but then we always end up talking about it for some reason.
I think we talk about it because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think we talk about it because it's kind of taboo, because it goes against the norm. Like, I feel like we're forced, that's a strong term, but I feel like we're given a set of facts that's like, this is it, this is what happened, don't ask questions. But our curiosity often does get the better of us. And if there's something that we don't feel we can take at face value, we're looking for the what if and. So I think it's only natural to say, okay, well, what was it planned? Was it staged? Was it this? Was it that? And I'm talking about anything. I mean, just obviously this is the most recent and the most obvious, but talk about the moon landing, talk about JFK, talk about, any other amount of things that, I can't even think of other things off the top of my head, which is why maybe I'm not qualified to go any further. But I mean, seriously, you think about all of those different hot hitting news items, the curiosity is going to get the better of you, and you're going to want to find out more.
On a 1 to 10 scale, where do you consider yourself in belief? 10 being you believe conspiracy theories, 1 being that they definitely are not true.
Conspiracies in general?
In general, yeah.
I'm going to go with a 7.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I'm going to go there is because I think at the heart of it is the spirit of truth. And I think when more than one person starts talking about it that are unrelated, I think it almost forces you to pay attention to that and say, is this something we need to consider? Are there credible sources that can justify this explanation? And oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes there are. So why should we discount them just because it's not the accepted conclusion? So I'm probably about a 6 or a 7 on that.
Okay.
Where are you on that scale?
I'm of like 2 minds of it. I kind of believe past conspiracy theories more in like JFK because it was easier to get away with things.
Sure.
I think. But nowadays I feel like you can't get away with anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a camera, right?
That's so true. Because I'm like, okay, this is going to sound like such a strange way to describe this, but have you ever heard of the children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want some milk, and then they're going to want that. That's how my mind works. And really, when you think about it, that's how root cause analysis works. If you do this, then this, then this, then this. And I think you're right, because we have so much technology available to us. We can trace things. We can, think about the technology for Life 360. You can know where your family members are at all times, which route they took to get there, GPS, navigating your way all over the country. Like, somebody has eyes on you at all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right. I think the further we get down in our abilities, it's going to be more difficult to say something was a conspiracy, because we're going to be able to say, no, we've got this wealth of information and we can really, I think there will always be people trying to bury the truth, but I don't think you can escape the truth.
Yeah. So to answer, I think it's kind of a cop-out answer, but I'm kind of like a 5, which I think is a terrible place to be on a 1 to 10, because it's like you literally could go either way. But yeah, I'm kind of like a 5.
I think probably it's also the neutral answer.
Yeah.
I'm a neutral person. Well, let me take that back. In the right setting, around people I trust, they'll know my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's like, the minute you say something that is cancel culture, right? So it's like, right. I'm just going to reserve my some of the things I'm going to reserve for myself, but for general discourse, I'm willing to hear all sides, and then I'll make my own decision later, and based on those moments of gathering information on my own and being open enough to listen to both sides. You know what? It's not a cop-out, because if we're 5, then that means that we're open enough to hear both sides of the story before making a decision.
That is true.
We're strong.
I don't think a 1 or a 10 could see the other side even. See? They wouldn't hear them out.
See, it took us talking through it.
So true.
Yeah.
The 5s it's the dominant scale. It's the best
I'm
place
okay
to
with
be.
this.
Shout out to the 5s.
High 5. So should we circle back to CCA?
I guess let's circle back to it and let's see if we can do it without tangenting. But it probably, I can't imagine. Our track record is not very good.
It's bad. So, let's start here. Do people know what CCA is?
Good call. I don't know if they do. So, I'm wearing the T-shirt right now, by the way.
I noticed that.
I've talked about it.
Shout out to Derek Tennant.
He only
So
has what? Seven, eight shirts? Seven, eight?
seven shirts, 14 sleeves.
14 sleeves, right.
Yes. So CCA, Christian Comedy Association, is where we met.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's kind of exactly the way it sounds. They meet once a year to do basically a retreat for comedians.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an open mic night, so you get a chance to try out some new material. But it's also really just, I mean, it's a really fulfilling time to get to meet people. You
Mm-hmm.
network, you make friends. Um, you learn a lot about um, kind of your purpose. You know,
Yeah.
it's probably a little more sentimental than most people would think.
I
Um,
definitely think it is.
yeah, it's a retreat. It truly is a retreat. They fill into you. It's very motivational. But that's not to say there aren't laughs and big laughs at that. But I would say there are equal number of tears, um, just because it's so hard hitting.
Mm.
But it's a great 3 days.
I think you're right. On the surface, it seems like just kind of a corporate event where comedians are getting together.
Right.
Like Christian Comedian Association doesn't scream like church conference, right? It says
No.
Christian right there, but the association is like I'm like, oh, okay, it's people telling jokes and passing out business cards.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
Christian Comedy Con.
and
That's weird.
and maybe it's just because we're comedians and we think a certain way, but it's really one of the best conferences that I've
Yeah.
ever been to. I think because
Same.
the speakers think the same way that you do in
Yeah.
multiple ways. You know what I mean?
And it's hard to find that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with creative people in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, one of the things that I came away with this year is that, and I don't know if you felt this way, I think this is the best out of the three that I've been to.
Okay, yeah.
And I think there was not to say that there's not unity in the other years, because I wouldn't go back if I didn't feel that way. But I felt the unity was different this year because I feel that there's something churning for all of us that are attending. And it
Mm-hmm.
probably started as something very individual. But then when we met together, because like you said, we're all like minded.
Mm-hmm.
When we met together and started talking and hearing the speakers and realizing that we're kind of on the same page about what we want and what we see this could be in the future, it was really inspiring. And it really brought out a lot of hope in me. Because this has been a rough year.
Oh yeah.
It's been a really rough year, and it started off amazing, and then there was a little bit of a slump, and then just before going into CCA, I had a really big win,
Mm.
but I was still kind of licking my wounds,
Okay.
so I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I kind of went in not with a bad attitude, but I wasn't expecting anything out of it, and shame on me, you know. But I got so much out of this one. And, you know, the conversations that we're still having. And this year's it's always in June. So we really are fresh on the heels of it.
Mm.
But I don't know, it's been I needed that going into summer because summer's always a lull for comedy. But then I hit the ground running in the fall. So I kind of needed that time of introspection and then this break a little bit this summer because now I'm ready for the shows that I have in the fall.
You said something about no expectations, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
I just went to right after CCA this year. I had a week gap, and then I go to Green Lake, Wisconsin, for a Holy Spirit Renewal Ministry conference, and we go
uh-huh,
there every year. Um, and I feel like this year, for the first time in a long time, I went in with just no expectations,
uh-huh,
because normally I'm like, God, I need to be picked up, right? I'm like,
yeah,
this is like this conference gets, not that it's a conference high, because I don't think like that's a good way to live your Christian life. But like, but just like I wasn't expecting, I didn't need some big healing or some big like change in heart posture. And I think it's because I've been like more devoted in the past year in my walk, and not, falling back, slipping back. And I'm just like, we're good this year, so I don't need to be saved again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
And not like I don't want him to do anything, or I don't need anything.
Right.
Like anything he has in mind, that's what I want. But I'm not like, this is what I need now. And I think that's a good way to look at it. Is that kind of that's how I've been feeling. I don't know if you were saying the same thing or not.
Yeah, I feel like with you, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was no sense of expectation, but there was an openness, God
Yeah.
lead. Do what you will. And
Mm.
for me it was, I have no expectation, but God, I really do need you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I got to start off the weekend with our friend Kay Dodd,
Mm. Mm.
because we both got into town the day before. And Kay is an amazing comedian.
Mm.
She
She's really
is
funny.
sharp.
Mm.
And she's been in the biz for 20 plus years, 30. And she has an incredible testimony. But I needed to fill my cup. And so she and I spent a large part of the day together on Sunday. And she just poured into me because she had excess to give.
Mm.
And I was empty. And so she really filled my cup. And then the rest of the days going through, seeing everybody, that, because for the most part, we don't get to see these people but once a year.
Mm.
And we stay connected, through social media and, texting back and forth. But there's nothing that compares to being with these people in person.
Mm.
And after that first day, it was like, okay, Lord, I think you have something for me. And I'm just going to walk in and I'm going to receive it.
Mm.
Whether it be course correction, because my attitude had gotten the better of me, or just, even just illuminating what my next steps are, what you expect of me. And it changed a lot of what I feel he wanted me to be praying. So just praying more his will for what's going on. And
Mm.
I will tell you, the week I got back, I booked 3 shows that I wasn't even sending out inquiries for.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I truly feel that that was of the Lord. I did nothing to orchestrate it, nothing, except really rely on him. Huge difference.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So were there any big takeaways for you this year?
Now, this isn't just this year. This is just through this conference that I've came to this realization. But really, everyone that goes there, for the most part, there's always a deeper layer, which is hard to find in comedians, because we're like, not, I don't know, not off-putting. I don't think that's the right. We're like, we put up walls, right?
Yeah.
But then the Christian part of us, if we're living like Jesus, is to bring people in.
Yeah.
And I just think so many, and better than me, I think a lot of people there are really good at doing both those things. And it's, it's something that I strive to do, but it doesn't come natural to me.
Well, I think we all have our own boundaries, right? The Bible talks about guarding your heart.
Mm.
I think that is so true. And I think some people are more trusting and they are guarding their heart, but they allow a few more people in. And some people are like, no, I'm going to guard my heart. And maybe I let one or two people in. And I certainly don't let strangers in.
Mm.
And so I think that's probably just how you're hardwired. And you'll find those people that you will open up to and let that guard down. Because they've proven themselves trustworthy. I had a very similar conversation with another comedian, like literally days after CCA.
Oh yeah.
And they know me very well. I feel I know them very well, but I feel that I'm one to say, I'm feeling this. I trust you. I'm going to tell you. Whereas they won't say anything for a little bit. And then like weeks later, I'll get like a list of Bible verses, or I'll get like, a video of something that they've been studying. I'm like, oh, okay. That's where the emotional, because they even called me on it and they're like, you process emotion differently than I do. And I don't talk about my emotions the way you do. And it wasn't like I feel bad about it. It was just, it's different, and neither one of them is wrong or right. It's just, I think it's how we respond to things, how God has hardwired us. It probably has a lot to do with our giftings too, I would think, And what I find funny is there are very few people that I let in completely.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like I can talk on the surface about all of these emotions, but I'm not going to necessarily tell you the why behind it unless I know you. Like I'm still going to have the smile on my face. I'm not going to crack under that. Like I'm going to tell my sob story now. No, there's very few people that I share that with. But I think the key for me is I realize that I share just enough that people think, oh, I have her whole story. And it's like, no, you got the 10% I wanted you to see. And not that that's a phoniness. I hope it doesn't come across that way, but I still guard the part that I feel is between me and God, or between me and someone that can probably speak truth and life into that situation for me.
Yeah.
We're so complex.
I think I do the same thing. I've never said this to anyone but myself, I guess, and also to God, because, almost
God.
goes without saying. But I think this is kind of, I guess I'm going to get vulnerable for a minute. I don't like to do this. I don't like to get vulnerable or emotional, but I'll do it for a minute.
Okay. I'm counting down.
I think I do the same thing. I don't let anyone. I say, like, never let them see your cards. There's no one person that has ever seen every one of my puzzle pieces. Like, if I went missing or I died, no person on earth would know everything. People would have to come together to figure out all the pieces. Not that I'm like super secretive. It's just, right. I don't know. And maybe that's, I don't know. I don't think I'm closed off necessarily, but maybe a little bit. I don't know.
The insights of Max. That was very deep, dude.
Thanks.
I know, and honestly, I mean this sincerely. For someone that doesn't share, thank you for being vulnerable.
Yeah. And then this might be the same thing. I don't know if I've said this on a podcast. I've said it to people, but now I was called out recently and saying this might not be like loving or like living like Jesus. So I don't know, but I don't know about this. So So I'll ask you the question, but
Okay.
so this is mostly to do with like as internet personalities as we are, we get comments, and there's tons of negative comments. Like on Instagram, it goes like very quickly like racist and very negative in every
Mm-hmm.
comment thread, and also like really political, and it's always those three things, and it doesn't matter what the post is. Like I made a lighthearted joke in my opinion about like Ninja Turtles because I saw somebody posted like their Ninja Turtles costume. I made a joke that they stole it from the Nickelodeon studios because of how like well made it was, and people did not like that. They were like people were mad. They're like, "Can you not just be positive for 1 minute?" And they're like, "Seriously, you couldn't do anything half this good?" I was like, "Yeah, that is true," but also it was like a joke, and it was like a really tame joke, I thought, but people were
Yeah.
so mad. And so part of this about me, but now I'm circling around. So I don't care about negative comments at all, especially from people I don't know. I don't. It's like I don't respect their opinions. That's what I said. I don't respect their opinions because I don't know them. I haven't given them um, the privilege of affecting my mood, or
Yes.
you know, the only people like I give my family. I respect their opinions, my friends, but that's earned.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an automatic thing. Like the world, there's so many opinions in the world, and I only care about the ones who are the people that I care about. And I was not attacked, but sort of like, but is that how Jesus would live? And I don't know.
So I think there's a big difference here between, because I think this has a lot to do with the context.
Hmm.
Let's talk about rebuke. If I don't have a relationship with you, um, but I want to come to you and criticize everything you've done, my rebuke is not going to come across as loving or as in your best interest. So it could be very harming to you if you let it in that way. So I don't think you're necessarily not loving people like Jesus, but if you don't have a relationship with somebody, you would never rebuke them
Hmm.
because you don't have the relationship to do that.
Hmm.
You love them, you don't agree with them. And I think that's what's lost with us right now is we don't know how to disagree and we don't know how to love one another unless we completely agree with one another.
Hmm.
And I think that is still a very challenging concept for people. So I
Hmm.
don't think it's that you're being unloving or unkind or not loving as Jesus would. I think you are realizing there's a boundary there and you're not going to take, you know, Instagram follower 1, 2, 3. You're
Hmm.
not going to take their comments as seriously as you would a sibling or a friend, someone who's walked this walk with you and knows you. And maybe from them, you would, if they call you out on something, you're willing to consider it and go,
Hmm.
now this one I need to pray about this one.
Hmm.
So no, I think, well, and you have to be careful with social media too, right? Because
Hmm.
a lot of people are just keyboard warriors,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so a lot of them, they're just hiding behind this keyboard and they don't really care that you're going to correct a behavior. They want to see the drama unfold.
Yeah, yeah. And let me know if you've seen this. I see this all the time. People will be fighting in the Instagram comments, and then to help prove their point, they'll go to that person's profile who they're fighting against and use their bio as like cannon fodder. I'm like, what? If you have to do that, you've lost the argument. Because that's separate. That's separate from the argument. Their person is not. You can't say, "Well, dude, you're ugly, and that's why you're wrong." You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense.
Right, because there's no substance there.
Yeah.
And please tell me when an argument on Facebook or on Instagram ever changed someone's mind.
Yeah, for real, legitimately. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that on Facebook you can't, Facebook, Instagram,
whatever
social
media
feed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you can't have an influence on somebody. But if you're going to have a positive influence on somebody, you're going to be feeding into their life something what they need. That's what they'll respond to. If they disagree with you, they disagree with you. You're probably not going to change their mind. They're probably looking for an argument. But the people that are seeking something to fulfill them, and they want to follow somebody on Facebook, Instagram, they're looking for, well, and let's take that another step. Let's say they have a podcast. They want those deeper thoughts. They want to know more about you. It's part of your rhetoric. And who are you 24/7? And who we are on social media is really a percentage of who we are. Now that's driven definitely by who we are at our core, hopefully. But, I mean, that going back to someone's bio and just nitpicking and, the only person that's your friend in this world is your dog, and even your dog's ugly. Why?
Yeah.
Why did you go there? And that's when you just, shake the dust off your feet and move on. You're not going to change them. And they don't really want to be changed.
Yeah.
Who would have known we would have gotten so deep?
I know, for real. I didn't plan on talking about any of this. To be fair, I don't really plan on talking about anything.
That's fair.
Maybe it makes me a bad podcast host. Maybe it makes me a good podcast host. I don't know.
I don't know.
I never
like
have a game plan.
Because I feel like, we started like pretty funny and lighthearted. We got pretty deep.
Yeah.
We got a little sarcastic and snarky. It's okay.
And everything happens for a reason, right? So
I believe that. 100%. Well, when was it? Was it Monday or Tuesday when you sent me the message?
Tuesday, like late at night. I was like,
and like I woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I can't sleep. And so I started scrolling Instagram.
I had the same thing. I was up for an hour and a half.
Yeah. So like I went on Instagram. I'm like, somebody just messaged me on Instagram. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, why is Max messaging me at 1:30 a.m. on Instagram?
I'm like, you up?
Hey, what's up? And what's funny, I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes after you'd sent the message, and I'm like, I guess I'm up, and I did. You're like, hey, like, what are you doing this Thursday? And I'm like, working. And then you asked me to do this, and you don't know how much it meant to me. Like, this has been a rough week, so there's like the 10% vulnerable I'm going to be, but I needed this. I needed this so much. It was so uplifting to me. So even though it's like the HaveFun podcast, we're going to, Spider-Man's in the background, and, you've got a dinosaur chicken nugget pillow on your couch. I mean, you're my buddy. I would do anything for you. Yeah.
For the record.
Because we're being listened to.
Hopefully. Let's hope.
At least by the FBI.
Yeah, definitely. At least we have, at the very least, our FBI agents are listening, and hopefully they're having a good time.
With the number of times we've said the word conspiracy, we have definitely broadened your listener outreach. I know it.
I always say this isn't a conspiracy theory podcast, but a lot of times we end up talking about it. Unfortunately, and I'm afraid that the government is watching. But government, don't watch us, by the way.
We're we're simple folk, and we're just trying to figure
Yeah,
life out. Okay,
exactly.
like that's our plea.
For real.
We know nothing.
Yep. Amen.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't say we know nothing. I don't want to undersell us.
Right. We know some things.
We know some things.
We know a couple of things.
We know a couple of things. We know about two-story outhouses.
Amen. So true about that. Should we wrap up? Should that be our last story to wrap up?
I felt you were going to go there, so I feel like we have to go there. So
I was thinking that was going to have to be the first thing I went to, but we didn't need it. That wasn't a crutch that we needed.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't. I mean, we've developed so much.
So true.
But I mean, it really is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think maybe over the last 2 years and this podcast, we started out as acquaintances, but then we moved quickly to associates. And yes. I think now I would say a friendship. I think a budding friendship.
What a blessing. Yes.
I mean, we've been associated for so long, but
we've been associated for so long, but we're friends now.
Yeah, so true. And we were long lost conjoined twins, but now we're reunited and friends
and family.
Yeah,
we're family.
When we have the friends and family plan, so we could save money on our cell phone plan.
We could.
Mm-hmm. And insurance and stuff.
Absolutely.
Great idea. Again, government, don't watch this.
Right. Just nothing. We weren't. What? Huh? What? Was that jumbled? It was jumbled.
And then, dare I say, maybe the two-story outhouse is our first point of connection.
It is. Not even a dare. It is our first point of connection. At the first CCA, they had us write when we first got there, like an interesting fact about ourselves that was very unique.
And I infamously hate this game.
I know. I know.
But
so, unbeknownst to me, like I think it was the second day, they took those facts and they said, we need, 10 people up here, and this is who we need. And I was one of them. And you were each given a poster with someone else's fact. So everybody in the audience had to figure out, whose fact belonged to who. And my fact was that I live 9 miles from a two-story outhouse.
So you said this the first year. I don't know if I told you the first year, but I thought about it a lot. like the next year, probably once a month, I would think about it and be like, that is so interesting.
How does that work?
No.
Do I want to know?
It's kind of not great on anybody's end, because if you're on the top, someone can just look up and see everything that's going on, and probably the worst angle of it.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Oh.
But then if you're on the bottom, you're just getting covered in, everything. So I don't know.
Maybe that's what prevents you from looking up. Oh, that was bad. No.
Yeah. I mean,
that was bad.
It was the top was private, right? So people own this house. Outhouse.
Yes. So it was a general store on the bottom level. So it was attached to a building. So the bottom level was a general store, and above it they had apartments, and they had residences up there. So when they built the whole facility, sorry, I know, I'm sorry, I went there.
Aren't bathrooms just whole facilities?
They really are. So when they built the facility, they kept that in mind. So they built the lower level of the outhouse for the general public, and the top level for the people who lived in the residences on the second level.
And now, was it just a straight drop, or was there a tube situation? Was there a guiding?
What I've learned is that there is on the top level a chute that's diagonal.
Okay, so it's
and then
hitting
it
you at
goes.
least in the back,
Yeah.
not on
So
top of your head.
right. So I mean, the obvious joke is to talk about, how that all works, but legitimately there is a chute that engineers it to a different
Mm-hmm.
hole.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly saves money on the part of you don't need two plumbing lines. Or is it just so? If it's an outhouse, is it just a collection?
It's
Is it just a
yeah, it's
pot?
just it's literally an outhouse. It's not there's
Uh-huh.
no indoor plumbing. So, yeah.
It's so
And
interesting.
I didn't know that this wrecked your brain.
Yeah, I thought about it all the time. I thought I have to see that. I still haven't seen it in person, but one day I've got to. One day I have to
Dude,
see it.
I am an excellent hostess. I'm sorry. I don't mean to to brag, but I am an excellent hostess. And there are so many interesting things about Mattoon. There's the first Burger King, which is not affiliated with the
Whoa.
Burger King we all know.
Oh, really? I was gonna
Yeah,
say that's not a flex, but if it's not associated, then maybe it is.
we have a court case that does not
Oh.
allow the franchise to open within 20 miles.
Oh,
So I
that's
think that's a
awesome.
flex.
Yeah, I think so. Now, is it better than Burger King? 'Cause I don't like Burger King. People come at me for this, but
So so here's okay, it's completely different. So there's no comparison.
it's like it's
Um,
like real burgers, like a real.
they do the smash burgers.
Oh yeah, those are top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier.
And they have the best lemon ice cream in the world. In the
Oh.
world.
Whoa.
And they put little googly eyes on your ice cream.
Whoa.
I don't know why I'm pretending that I'm holding it.
Well, that makes
But
it. Yeah. You don't have a
yeah.
microphone. I have a microphone. I could just be like,
Yeah,
"This is my
my
ice
hands are my
cream."
props. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean there's so much in Mattoon. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sold. We're gonna have to come out there
You
and
need
get the
to.
ice cream and the toilet
Us.
and the outhouse. We got to see it. We have to.
You have to. We'll take your pictures over there.
Mm,
Honestly, it's too bad that you can't be here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I have to look at the calendar because the two-story outhouse has a festival.
what?
Yeah, and it's coming up in a few weeks. It's in August.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I will put it on my docket for next year. I will
Yes.
pencil in and strongly try to be there.
I think honestly, I believe that we need to make this happen.
For real. How far away are we? I'm in
But
Michigan on Lake Erie, so
okay, so
Illinois for
um
me is only a couple hours, but that's like Chicago. It's like 4 hours.
and I'm about 3 hours from Chicago. So you're
But
because
maybe like 7.
probably 7 hours.
Mm.
6 hours and 4 minutes.
Oh wow, even better. And with the time change, think about that. With the time change, depends
You
on which
gain
way
an
I'm
hour.
going. Yeah.
Gain
So
an hour coming to
technically
visit
5.
me.
Think about that. Technically 5. If you hit the time jump coming at the
Are we
right time.
doing time travel now?
A little bit of time travel.
Wow, we really have covered everything.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, we need to make this happen. It needs to be a thing.
Definitely we need to. Definitely we need to make it happen.
Yeah,
I want to.
for sure.
I'll go full in for the festival. I'll buy the t-shirts and the ice cream and everything.
They have a T-shirt.
I love that.
No joke, dude. So go on Facebook because they don't have Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And two-story outhouse festival. You'll find it. I'll send you a link.
Perfect.
They're getting ready. They are so excited. So excited.
Yeah. Anything else we need to talk about logistically about the outhouse?
I can't imagine that we do.
I think we covered our bases.
Do you have questions? I have answers. My dad has used it.
What?
His great aunt, because it's a very rural area. His great
Okay.
aunt lived maybe half a mile from it. And, of course, she didn't have indoor plumbing. So she had an outhouse on her property as well. But when they would go into town to the general store,
That's crazy.
so he has used it.
Yeah, I gotta see. I gotta see it. I gotta see it to
You
really
do.
understand.
You really do. Like, I mean, people laugh and they're like, "Oh, two-story outhouse, it's so stupid." But like, low key, people really want to know about it.
Yeah,
It's like, I have to see this.
Mm-hmm.
It is the eighth wonder of the world.
For real. I mean, it lives rent free in my head, and now maybe in our viewers' heads. Are you guys as jazzed as I am about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is amazing. It is amazing. Gaze, Illinois, two-story outhouse.
Gotcha, noted.
I don't know where we go from there.
I don't know if there is anywhere to go from there. I think
we're having the Bagel Fest in Mattoon this weekend.
Bagel?
Bagel.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sounds like that's a really deep well that we might have to mine on a second episode.
I think we should. I can tell you all about the festivals in Central Illinois. Broomcorn, popcorn, cheese.
What? Whoa, cheese.
Bagel.
But competitor of Wisconsin. But so
I'm telling
close.
you. Well, and this will make sense to you. I think the only reason that we can compete with Wisconsin on this one is because this is an Amish town.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Now it's actually all making sense. Yeah.
I've connected all of the dots.
Mm-hmm. That's the linchpin in all the festivals. Festivals
So,
is the bagels, the cheese.
All of it.
Mm.
So you come to Mattoon, Illinois. I'm going to show you the two-story outhouse. We're going to get smash burgers at Burger King. And I'm going to contact my friend because I know people. And if you've ever wanted to see spotted hyenas.
What?
I have a connection.
Like from the Lion King.
Yes, my friend owns a wildlife adventure park.
Whoa, like that is crazy.
20, 30 miles from here. And we really could do another episode because long story short, which, they never are, he has a Z-donk, which is a
cross between a zebra and a dog. Oh, a donkey.
Yep.
Oh, man, that is some Frankenstein's monster.
and my relationship to this whole story is that my miniature donkey is the father of this Z-donk.
Oh, wow.
I can't make this stuff up, Max.
I mean, there's everything. I feel like the well just keeps getting deeper and deeper.
I think I've secured my spot on your podcast again.
For real. I mean, for you, the fun fact game is just a pick out of the hat. You have just thousands of them.
What fun fact do you want? When I moved here 9 years ago, I had 6 chickens, 2 dogs, and a miniature donkey.
Wow.
There's a lot. I'm a deep well.
Speaking of wells, wow.
I
think we've covered a lot of bases.
We have.
And we're definitely going to have you back. We'll probably maybe have co-hosts on.
That would be
You'll get
fun.
to meet my co-hosts. Hopefully.
Love that.
As long as there's no unforeseen abilities.
Children coming into the world, worship rehearsals.
Yeah. Future fathers.
Yeah, I mean, that's important.
Mm-hmm. You got to. It's all about the kids.
It is.
Maybe that's the moral of our whole episode. It's all about the kids. Shout out to the kids.
Shout out to the kids. I mean, that's a stretch, but it makes us look and sound really good.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if we couldn't put a better moral on it. I think that's the perfect cap to this episode. It's all about the kids.
It's all about the kids.
Maybe that's the title. It's all about the kids.
That's right.
And people will have to watch the whole episode to understand what it means.
Oh. So you could literally say it's all about the kids. Wait till the end.
Yeah. Yeah, clickbait.
Yeah.
Wait till the end.
Yeah,
We're
they might
social
get really
media
mad,
gurus,
but that's
ladies and
okay.
gentlemen.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They need to be invested. We have
Yeah,
shared so
seriously.
much with them today.
For real. For real. Oh, man, all my co-hosts always get mad at me because I'm bad at wrapping up the episode, and I wrap
Well,
up for like 15, 20 minutes. And
it's
now
the
that they're not
Midwest
here, it's
goodbye.
like, what?
It's the Midwest goodbye.
Yeah, I'm bad at goodbyes, but
It's terrible.
you got to do them. Here's what I like to say is leave while you're having a good time. Leave them wanting more. That's what I say. Leave them wanting more.
Okay.
You know, leave at the height of be the party guy, be a big party guy, and then leave.
Leave.
And then then they never get tired of you. You don't overstay your welcome.
That's right. So we can say this episode, we're landing the plane.
Yeah.
But we're going to dangle the carrot because we have so much more to unpack later.
Yeah, we're landing the plane on the kids.
It's all about
this
the
episode.
kids.
All about the kids. Shout out.
Shout out, heart, all the lovey-dovey things that we do for children.
All right, guys, go to social media where you could do some stuff.
Yep.
Follow, like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you subscribe. Now you're on Instagram. Are you on anything else?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube, but like all 2 videos. So follow me, because maybe one day I'll start posting there again.
Yeah, maybe one day. There's another tease. Maybe one day.
See, there you go. Wow.
I guess that's it. I'm gonna do the outro, which is kind of confusing because normally it's like a duo outro, and it's just me now. So you don't speak Spanish by any chance, do you?
No.
Okay. Okay, then. Thanks for watching the Have Fun Podcast. This is the Have Fun Podcast, and this is the outro for the Have Fun Podcast. Don't forget to jam a fork in that like button and subvert expectations. And don't forget to have fun.
Have fun, guys.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
You just listened to a Have Fun